Hey, what's up, guys? This is Guy here. Welcome to this new live Sunday, February 18th, 2024. Thank you for joining me. I'll be live today. Oh, you know what? I forgot to turn on this light here because I just turned it off for some reasons. All right, so I'm here for you. We're going to do some good first steps in automation, and I'm talking about network automation, security automation, all kind of automation, system automation. You might be a DevOps engineer, you might be a network engineer, a security engineer, all those things. You will get some first steps done here in this live. Say hi in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. And my name is Guy. If you haven't seen me before, I am here on YouTube trying to share my knowledge. Trying to share my knowledge here on KBTrainings. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. That's where you're going to see the behind the scenes and whatever I do at Gibisuku or KBTrainings. And just like I said, I am glad to always come here and bring you what I know. Hi, Sasha. Thank you so much for the comment. I'm glad you're there with me. All right. So today we're going to start and do our first steps in automation or tech automation in general. And I've been exposed to automation for a while now. One of my last jobs, like the one I just left, I've been doing automation over there for about 3 years, and I learned a lot. When I got in, I was good, just good enough to get hired, do the interview and get hired. But after that, I had to learn a lot of things on Linux, Python, databases, and all kind of stuff. So those are the kind of stuff that you have to know, because even though my role was, I was hired as a network or senior network engineer, but most of my job was just scripting, developing, writing script, connecting to devices, connecting to equipment, pulling data, sending them to a database, or sending them or creating reports, all kind of stuff. And all of that is possible because of automation and because of a language very simple like Python. Python is a beautiful language. It's way simpler than Java or C++ or C#, all those old ones. It has some pitfalls, but in general, you can do anything you want with Python. So today I'm going to talk about three main components. I will talk about Rocky Linux, which is the version of Linux that I'm going to use today for my development environment. I'm going to talk about Python, which is the beautiful programming language that I just mentioned. And then we are going to talk about VS Code, which is just a text editor, the one that I like to use. You can use anything else. You can use Sublime Text. You can use even a notepad. It can also work. Or you can even do everything on your shell dashboard if you want to do that. But today I'm going to talk about those three. I'm going to show you how you can download and install. Actually, I'm not sure if we can get to the install part because it may take really long. I just did my my French version of this same lab, and it took me a while. Let me put a link here just for your information, because I go live in French first, and then after that I go live in English. So I'm gonna give you the link to the French version of this video if you're interested, if you want to watch it in French. But it took me about an hour 30 minutes, and here in English I don't think we have to do an hour 30 minutes. I'll cut it short. So some things will be talked about but not shown in details. Like when I'm installing Rocky Linux, I don't have to stay here throughout the whole process of the installation of Rocky Linux. I'm going to show you exactly how it's installed, and we're going to move forward with the next steps. You know what? Yeah, I think I can still install it because I don't have just to show you things already done. I can show you how I did it. All right, thank you so much. Thank you for following me on YouTube. If you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. If you are not following me on, Facebook is also live. Thank you so much, Patient, for your comment. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So I go live on Facebook and on YouTube. And on both those, make sure you like and you share the video. Make sure you share so that the community is growing. All right, so the first thing is, why these three? Or let's say, why automation? Automation is so good because the sky is the limit when it comes to automation. You can automate anything. And the reason I turned off this light was because I was just trying to show how I can write a quick script that can turn on and off this light here. It's not the case for me because this light is not an IP. It's not an IoT connected to the internet. This is using just an RF remote, but I may have like a small Wi-Fi outlet that I can connect up front. So that will be connected to the Wi-Fi, and I can find a way to write a script to control that little outlet. I can turn it on and off depending on what I want. So in my production environment where I was working, most of what I did was just go out there and harvest data from a lot of equipment, from a lot of data or IP equipment, routers, switches, and everything. Put them in a single database where we can use it for planning, for capacity planning. We can project the need or in terms of capacity for the next 3, 5, 10 years, just based on that data. And I was writing a bunch of tools that were doing all kind of stuff. So that's how I was exposed. And when I was hired over there, I would say that I was not an expert, but I knew just enough to have an interview and to get hired. How do you know just enough? By getting involved. Linux is good. It's a good tool to know. I've never had a need to become an expert in Red Hat or whatever, but I knew just enough. I've been in my lab installing web servers or doing all kind of stuff with Linux. That's how you learn. So that's what I would recommend you to do. If you want to go out and be a Linux administrator, that's fine. You can do that. The reason I didn't do it is because I've noticed that in general, out of all the different fields that you can do in the tech, system is not very competitive when it comes to salaries. That's why I really was not very interested in it. So, and the second thing is that all the other fields that you may do, like networking, security, or cybersecurity, you will need to know systems. You'll need to know some Linux because it's going to follow you everywhere. And also, most of the OSs that we know today, either 40OS or Cisco iOS or Junos, all those are mainly based on Unix or Linux or whatever. It follows the same, they have like the same skeleton in the back. That's why when I'm in the FortiGate, for example, let's say I'm in FortiGate right here. This is one of my lab FortiGate. No, let's go on this one here. So this is my lab FortiGate. If I want to, let's say if I want to see what is the MAC address of my ports. And actually, that's one of the things that I'm going to share with you by the end of this video. We're going to build this. This thing happens all the time. I need to disable this button here. I went dark for a moment. I just hit on the button that turned off my computer. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to write this small script here that will give me the different MAC addresses from the device. So I needed, and I thought of it because Friday I was working on my lab, and sometimes what happens in ESXi is that the order of the ports that you have inside the FortiGate is not the same that you have in the VM inside ESXi. So I needed to know what are the different MAC addresses on the FortiGate or in the FortiGate so I can match the same port in ESXi. So I can go and check the port one by one, or I can automate the task and create a quick script that can go inside the FortiGate, grab all the ports and all the MAC addresses and just give me a list. And that's what's happened in my case. And I built that thing. And then I was like, yeah, maybe I can talk about automation on Sunday, because I haven't been really talking about it much, even though I've been working on it for a very long time. And I think I will be doing it from now on. I'm actually also thinking of creating a small crash course on Python and Linux as well, just to give you those first few steps that you need. The remaining of it, you can go learn on your own and become the master of it. But I'm going to give you just what you need to be good at it and to be able to resolve any kind of problem. So let's say I'm here in the FortiGate. I want to see what are the MAC addresses, or what is the MAC address on the port number 1. I'll do get hardware, and then NIC as in NIC card, or network interface, and then port number 1. So when I do this, I have the result. It's a long result. We have a lot of lines here. There are things that I don't need in here. But knowing Linux, and this is something that I found out just on my own, I'm like, hey, I can grep this result. Because for anybody that has been exposed to Linux, grep is the command that you can use to filter the result or the output that you have on your screen. So I'm like, maybe I can grep this and get only what I need. And then I went and I found that the line I need is here. It has hardware address. So what I can do is go do the same command and then pipe and do grep this hardware address. Once I do that, look at this. Now I only have the line of interest. I only have the MAC address that I need. And that to show you that there is Unix in the back end. There is Linux. It's a family. So when you know Linux, you will be good with all of this. So actually, you have to know Linux to be very comfortable with this. So that's why I didn't have to do a training or a certification on Red Hat or whatever. All I did was just learning things as I go. And today I know a lot of Linux commands that are very helpful to me, and I can literally do anything that I want. If I don't know, of course, I'm going to Google it. And you're going to find out that Google, ChatGPT, and all those will be your best friends because you'll be Googling stuff all the time. The more you Google, the more you know yourself and you become good. So the 3 components that I'm talking about, you can also not need all of them. You can only have a laptop like I do have here. I have a MacBook here. You can have a MacBook. Let me see if it's connected to my system here. Yeah, it's connected. So you can have a MacBook like me, and then you can install Python directly on your MacBook. And then you may not even need VS Code because you can still do your coding inside of your Mac directly without needing a VS Code or a text editor. But to make it very professional and well, you need to install VS Code. So you may have just your computer and VS Code, that's it. Or you may have a Windows computer, you have Python in it. Usually it comes with Python. Sometimes it doesn't have Python in it. If I pull up my command line here, and if I do Python, this is what you do in general when you want to pull up Python. So if I do Python, it's telling me that Python is not installed, and now it's giving me an option to go and install Python 3.12. But I don't need to install it on my computer, so that's fine. So I'm gonna skip it. Or if I go on my MacBook and I do Python, I'm sure there is no Python on this computer right now. And that's because I like to use Python on a remote server, on a remote Linux server. So I keep everything consistent. And also that server can be reached from anywhere. Like if I come on my Mac here, I can still show you VS Code. The script that you see here is the exact same script that I was able to access from my Windows. So as long as I have a computer that has access or has IP connectivity to my remote server, I can go there and grab whatever script I want and edit or work on it. And also, this is the kind of design that you find in a production environment in big companies. Of course, your company will give you a laptop, but sometimes you're not supposed to do development on your own laptop. You can do that if you want to, but usually you have an environment or a remote server where you have to keep your scripts, to keep your programs, and then you're gonna run everything from there. So that's what I'm initiating you to if you haven't been in automation. So it's always good to have that kind of setup. Have a VM, virtual machine. In my case, I choose Rocky because it's what is used in production now by a lot of companies too. And if you know the history about it, we started with CentOS, and at some point CentOS changed direction. It was supposed to be free and all available all the time, but they changed. It became CentOS Stream, which didn't make a lot of people happy, and a big chunk of that community started another project, Rocky Linux, that is being used today. Even in the last company that I came from, at some point we were supposed to migrate from CentOS to Rocky Linux. So that's why I picked Rocky Linux. It's free, it's available. You can download it and install it. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then Python is the go-to scripting language for me right now, or for a lot of professionals, because it's easy, it's simple, it's light, it doesn't consume a lot of resources, it's really easy to run and debug and all of that. So Python is my go-to language. And then VS Code or Visual Studio Code from Microsoft is also a very good tool, very good text editor. You can install a lot of plugins or extensions on VS Code. It's gonna make just your life very easy. So today I'm here to talk about the first steps. I assume some of you may know this already. Some of you are brand new to this. You have no idea, you have no clue. So that's where we're gonna start. And yeah, the reason is we need this. I even think that whatever field you're working on, even if you are a lawyer, you may need to know some Python in the future. You may need to automate some stuff. You may need to pull the list of your clients from an Excel spreadsheet, for example, to put it in a certain database, or to copy it on your computer. Or maybe it might be a home project where you want your Google Home to connect to your HVAC system, and then you want. So Python is everywhere. So that's why it's really, really important. So the first step is to install Rocky Linux. Rocky Linux. In my case, I use it in ESXi. I have VMware ESXi right here. Let me show it to you. Just a second. Okay. All right. So this is my ESXi environment. This is the second Rocky Linux that I installed. I have like 3 of them at this point. So I installed it and I created a new user. I just called it a user. I called it user, and there is a password over here. So once you get in, you have access to this environment. It's just a simple installation, not a lot. Even though I picked the GUI version, I could have gone with the server only version where you don't have the GUI, you only have the shell. But here I have the GUI. It can be helpful at times. So to download Rocky Linux, you just need to go on Google and Google download Rocky Linux. It's gonna bring you on this page here. This is the actual address. So yeah, it's just rockylinux.org. Download, and you're gonna download what you need. In my case, I needed the 64-bit version. So that's why I downloaded this one here. And you have some options over here. You can pick between the minimal ISO or the DVD ISO. The DVD is the one that comes with everything included. The minimal, you may not have some tools already installed. You probably need to go ahead and install them on your own. But I like to go with the DVD version. It's heavier than the minimal. It's like 9 or 10 gigabytes. So once you download that, the 10 gigabytes, you put it somewhere. In my case, I put it under VMs, images. This is a folder that I showed you last time when I was talking about ESXi and my NAS. So this is the download this is the image, the ISO file that I downloaded. It's literally 9 gig, that's 79. So it's kind of heavy. So you have it somewhere in your system. And then the next step is just you creating a new Rocky Linux computer. Very simple, straightforward. You go under ESXi, and of course you do the virtual create VM, and then you go next and you give it a name here. You may call it Rocky, whatever. And under guest OS family, it's a Linux family. Guest OS version, we can scroll down all the way to Rocky Linux 64-bit right here. And then you go next. I'm going to save it in my NAS, which I showed you last time. So I have a lot of space in the NAS, so everything is centralized there. I'll pick the NAS and go next. And here you can leave it at 2 gig or increase if you want to, but 2 gig is already great because it's a very light system. It can be light, so you don't need much for what you do if it's just scripting and stuff like that. And mostly if you are scripting from a remote workstation, you don't need a lot of memory here. So you can leave it at 2 gig, or you can increase it if you want to. I'm going to leave it at 2 gig. Maybe I may increase the hard drive to 32 if I want, but it's not necessary. The USB, I generally don't need it. I remove it. And then we have the network adapter. Here, I'm going to connect it to my home network. So I'm going to pick MAN 35. This is what's going to my home network. And then I will come down here and attach my ISO file. So I'm going to select data store ISO file for the DVD drive or reader. So I'm going to select to go in the folder where I had my file, and I'm going to attach it. Just click on it and select. It's already attached. And when you're done, you go next and then finish. Once you do finish, it's going to create the VM. So you may have many ways of doing it. If you have at least like 8 gigabytes on your workstation, on your laptop, it's the minimum I would recommend. So if you have 8, it's fine. You can give it 2. And I assume you have a VMware workstation installed or Fusion installed, or you have like VirtualBox installed, so you can do VMs there. Or if you have an ESXi environment that is outside of your workstation, that's also even great. That's what I'm doing right now with ESXi. You can have that. It will help. Let me take a look at the chat. I've been talking for a while. I don't know if you're even listening to me or not. Hello, and for PC configuration. PC configuration, I'm not gonna talk about that here, but I'll make a video about it. I'm gonna create a crash course, just like I said, to give you all the basic you have to know for Python and for Linux. It's gonna come sometime on KBTrainings.com. Actually, talking about KBTrainings.com, that's my website where I teach you stuff. The biggest training I have right now is the CCNA 200-301. If you go under CCNA, it goes from zero to engineer. This is what helped me to start my career and get me where I am right now. I started with the CCNA. It's a very good certification, well respected in the industry. So if you are going for the CCNA, I have a course, very well done, 4K, going from zero to engineer. And you can, you can enroll here and there's a bunch of answers. But if you go down here, you can subscribe to my mailing list. So if I have a course or something coming, you'll be informed. So make sure you are in my mailing list so you don't miss anything from me. So in the small course or the crash course that I'm going to create, I'm going to show you how to install it in a Windows environment, or how to do it on the Mac OS or any kind of Linux environment too. So that's that. Let's go back to the comment again. Hi, Robeg. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for saying hi in the chat. I really appreciate your presence here today on Sunday. So let's go back to what we were doing. So what I was saying is, if you have a computer or a laptop, you can have workstation on it. So you get a VM inside the workstation, or you can find a way to get a VM. But if you cannot have a VM, or if you don't want to have a VM, you can only have Python. You can have Python directly on your Windows or your Mac OS. That also works fine, but it's always good to keep an environment consistent. Put it somewhere in a remote server. So in my case here, I created this Rocky 2 right here. This is Rocky 2, and I was able to connect to it using my secure CRT. And if you don't know how to do that, you just need to open a new session in secure CRT, like here. I open this session here, and if I double click on it, as you can see, it opens up directly my Rocky Linux as root. You have the option to do everything as root, or you can do it as a simple user. I usually in my lab environment go with root because it's much easier. I don't have to do a lot of sudo or whatever. But in the production, you may not have to do that. You do with your specific user that you were given by your admin or your system admin. That's what you're going to use. And if you look at here, I already, let's see, this is my all my different devices, and you can see Rocky 2 is here. If I go under properties, you can see that I am connecting using r2.local. This is a DNS entry that I put in my Fortinet, my local Fortinet. So I got the IP on the computer, which is here, the 10.35.0.9. It's actually right here, 10.35.0.9. And then I just put it in my DNS. So I was able to connect using DNS or the host name at the port number 22. And username is root. And I saved the password. That's why I was able to log in without inputting the password, because it's already saved in secure CRT. You can use secure CRT. You can use anything like, what is it again? Putty or Terra, whatever. All of that can help you connect. As long as you can have access to the terminal, you'll be able to do anything from there. I like secure CRT, and that's my go-to right now. So now we are connected to our device. The next thing we want to do from the Linux device is make sure that Python is installed. In my case, Python came already installed, so I didn't have to do much in here. So most of what I did, or what you can do to verify if Python is installed, is you can do which Python. That's one way to verify that. If you do which Python, it's going to tell you where your Python is located, or where is the binary file for Python. Or you can do Python. You can do Python -v to get the version of Python you running right now. I'm running the version 3.9.18. You may have the version 2, which is old, I would prefer you to move to version 9 or version 3. You can do an upgrade or you can install version 3. And this is my version of Python that I have. This is already all I need because I can do all my coding from here and it will work just fine. And from inside this interface, I can do a kind of Linux command. If I do pwd, it's going to tell me where I'm located right now. I can do lsltr. It's going to show me the files I have inside this system. I created this new folder here called script. I can create a new one by doing mkdir or make directory. I can call it gi dev, as in gi development, and I can do cd gi dev to get into it. And here there's nothing inside this folder, and this is going to be the folder that we're going to connect from on my VS Code. And again, to get VS Code, just go on Google, download VS Code. You download it, you install it, straightforward, nothing complicated. And it's going to look like this. It's going to look like this. This is VS Code already installed. I have even some files open here. One extra thing you need to add on VS Code, you need to go under extensions. If you go on the side, you can see this icon here. This is the icon for extensions. You click on it, it's going to bring you here. And here is where you can search any extension you want. I want you to search for remote SSH. This is the extension called remote SSH, because this is what's going to help you connect remotely to the Linux computer that we just created, the Rocky 2. Because I want my text editor to be connected to the server so I can pull the files from server. I can edit the files. I can even run things locally on my computer. So when you download remote SSH, you're going to come over here. It's going to give you this little icon down here. This is remote SSH. When you click on it, it's going to give you all the different computers that you have. In my case, I have some configured already. That's why you can see under SSH, I have R2 local. I have this as well. So if I want to add a new folder here, you know what? Let me do this. Let me remove this first. I don't even know if I can do it. So I can just come over here and then do remove or what? No. How do I remove this? Remove from recent list, maybe. No, that doesn't work. I should cancel. I don't even know. I only know how to add stuff. I don't know how to remove. Or maybe let's go under here. Connecting new windows. How do I connect this thing? Disconnect it. Okay, you know what? I don't even need to connect. You know what? Let's just... never mind. Okay. So if I come over here and I just installed my server, what I can do is go here and hit the plus that you have there. It's going to ask you what you want to do. So what we want to do is create an SSH session to our server. This is up here. This is up there. So I want to create my SSH session. What I'm going to do is write SSH as the command, root as my user, at r2.local. Again, R2 is what we just installed. So I'm going to hit enter. It's going to ask me where to save this. I'm going to save it here. And you can see on the side, it's asking me if I want to connect. I'm going to hit connect. And it's going to ask me for the password. I put a very simple password, which is just password because it's a lab. If you are in a lab, you don't want to be bothered by password and stuff. So from here, I want to open a folder. Right now, I'm already connected with SSH to my remote Linux server. I call it server because it provides services, but it's literally just a computer sitting somewhere. So I'm connected to it, and now I'm trying to open a folder that is remote. So what I'm going to do is open folder, and it's asking me what folder I want to open. I want to open gi-dev. I'm going to click gi-dev and hit OK. It's going to ask me for the password again. Enter. And it comes like this. Okay, it's already open at this point. If you come here, it says GDev on the side. Right there, it says GDev. So I'm already inside the folder, and we don't see anything here because there's no file inside. And if I come back to here, I can close this welcome screen. So there's nothing to see. There's nothing in the files. Let's go ahead and create a quick file in the Linux server so we can come here and take a look at it. So I'm going to go back to my secure CRT. I'm inside GDev. If I do list, there's nothing to list or nothing to show. And I can create a new file with a nano command. A nano is a quick command that will help you edit files, or it can help you create files. Like in my case, I'm going to create a file. I'm going to call it, the end goal here is for me to show you a quick script that's going to go in my FortiGate and pull the MAC addresses and show it to me. So I'm going to create a new file. I can call it file FortiGate MAC. Okay, and the extension is going to be py. Py is the extension for Python files. So once I do py, the system will know that this is a Python file that I need to run using Python. So once I enter, it's going to get me into this editor here, nano. I can put a quick comment and say this is a test file. Yeah, that's it. So, and down here, you can see all the different shortcuts that you can use. For exit, I can see that it's Control X. So if I come here and do Control X on my keyboard, it's asking me if I want to save. I'm going to do Y as yes. And then it's asking to confirm the name of the file. I'm just going to go enter. And that's it. I have a new file. So if I do ls here, you can see that I have one file called FortiGate MAC. Or I can do ls ltr to have a lot of details. It's owned by root from the root group, and it's called FortiGate MAC. This is the last time it was edited. So I have a file there. So now look what I'm finding. If I go back to VS Code, FortiGate MAC is here. The file is now in our file directory because I just created a new file. So this is working directly from the server. So from your workstation, as long as you can connect to the server, all the files will be there. All the folder you want to open will be available, and you can do everything you want from there. Oh, actually, I didn't finish. I thought about doing automation today because I was working on my FortiGate lab, this lab here. I don't know if you've seen this before. I've talked about it on this channel. This is one of my labs that I've been doing, learning a lot of things on the FortiAnalyzer, the FortiManager, doing a lot of SD1 on here. So I was doing some automation on the FortiAnalyzer with stitches and playbooks and things like that. That's when I was like, yeah, maybe it's time for me to talk a little bit about automation and get you started. Because we're going to go deep into this, into the scripting and everything. So this is the first video I'm going to refer to when we move forward, because these are the first steps that you do to get all the environment set up for you to be able to write script and do the development. All right, so I have FortiGate MAC here. If I hit on it, it directly opens the file. This is a test file. What I put there, it's right here. And from here, I can do anything. This is Python. So I can do, let's say, print. I'm going to print something like Guy is a good guy. If I am, I think I am. Guy is a good guy. And then here in the corner, if I hit the play button, it's going to play, or it's going to execute this file directly. Let's see. If I do that, it's going to open a terminal down here, and you can see Guy is a good guy. This is just printing something. This is the hello world in Python. We just did our first Python script or Python program here. It says Guy is a good guy. And I can go further if I want to. I want to change things. I can do like create a variable called word, which is I can grab the same thing that I have here. Guy is a good guy. And I can put it right there. And then this is becoming like a string, a variable string. And then I can come down here and do word. And I can save from here. And I can go back in my Linux computer. And I need to do Python to execute the file. So Python FortiGate MAC. And it's going to print Guy is a good guy. So it's printing the variable that I put in here. So this is the whole small script that I just started. And from here, we can add many things. So now I'm going to show you, I'm going to grab the other script that I told you about, the one that I opened in the, let's see, use, I think it was here. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this script here. Copy the script here and put it in my file. So this is a script I did yesterday because just like I said, I was trying to find the MAC addresses, and it's helping me to get all the list of the MAC addresses all together so I can compare and connect everything as it should in ESXi. So I have that. Beside Python that is already installed, you may need to install some other tools like pip. Pip is a tool that will help you manipulate all the Python stuff that you need to do inside your environment. So if you want to install pip, all you have to do is let's say, do I have pip already installed here? Pip will help you install other stuff. This is how it works. Python is an open source project, so it's been around for a while. So you have a lot of libraries and a lot of modules that are already pre-built for you. We have thousands of them. So depending on what you need, you may need to install some new modules. You may need to install some new libraries so you can use them. So you don't have to redo everything from scratch. And one of the libraries that we're going to use to connect to our devices is called Paramiko. Paramiko is just one of many tools that you can use to connect to devices. You can use NetMiko or any other. So Paramiko is what I choose, and I need to install it. And pip is the tool that is going to help us install it. And if you want to, if you go and trying to install Paramiko by doing pip install Paramiko, in my case, it's not going to do anything because Paramiko is already installed. As you can see, requirement already satisfied. If it was not there, then the install would have started and I could have it in. Or if I didn't have pip installed, it's going to give you an error, like an error message, and you'll have to install pip. To install pip, what you have to do is do dnf install python 3 pip. This is the command. If you don't have pip installed, you do dnf install python 3-pip, and in my case pip is already installed. So if I do which pip, it's showing me where pip is located. I can even check the version of pip that I have, even though I can see it right up there. Pip v, that is the version I am currently using. So few tools. If Python is not there, you install Python. You check the version, preferably version 3 is the latest one. And then you install pip. If it's not there, make sure pip is installed. And then, or if you do which pip, there's no answer, that means there's no pip. Go and install pip. And then you need to install Paramiko. So Paramiko is what we're going to use. With that, I'm going to show you the quick script here. This is the script that is very simple. At the beginning of the script here, very simple, we just give it a host name. Like this is the IP address of the device I want to go into, what port number I want to use, and I am going to give it the username for my device and the password. And then the list of interfaces. This is given like a list where I have interface from port 1 all the way to port 10. And then down here, I am going to connect and I'm going to run the command get hardware NIC, replace the port number over here, and then grep for hardware. Once I do that, I can able to come down and print the name of the interface and the MAC address. So if I save this and run it in our environment here, let me scale down a little bit, and I do Python this. There is an error at the end here. I didn't take my time to debug it or whatever, but I just see my result. This is what I needed. You can see the port numbers and the MAC addresses associated to those ports. This is the result. This is automation. Very simple, very quick. And now I can go in VMware and align all the ports with the MAC addresses. And how do I do that? Let me just show you. Maybe you didn't get the point of me going through all of this. Was because sometime in a device like this, that one was a FortiGate HQ. So if I come under FortiGate HQ and I go under edit, sometime the alignment that you have here is not what you have inside the device. So sometimes it's different. So that's why I usually come here and check the MAC address on the interface and confirm if it's what I have inside, so I know which port is connected to which network. That's the point of all of that. All right, guys, let me know if that was good. I think I showed you how to do your first steps in automation, how to install PEEP, how to make sure it's pas encore fini, hein, payer pour information finie. La formation n'est pas encore finie. Il me reste 2 sections à finir. Il reste la section, finir la sécurité, puis finir l'automatisation. C'est pour cela le prix est encore. Okay, I'm talking in French right now. So that's why the price is discounted, because I still have to finish automation and finish security and do the automation. That's literally the end of the course. So I will do that, and once I do, the price will be a little different. Donc, c'est un peu ça. Est-il possible d'utiliser AD pour le credential for the script? Très, très possible. Vous pouvez intégrer... oh, I'm sorry. It's it's English. I'm reading it in French. Is it possible to use AD user for automation? Yes, you can use AD user for your script. It's very easy to integrate an LDAP server. Can you let us see the lines of script? Yeah, I mean, then I can let you see that. It's not a problem. What else? Hakim Berkan, now you're spamming me at this point, my friend. That's not helpful. I think I will have to take some measures here. I need to remove you. What else? I think we're good at this point. Yeah, Hakim, I'll have to block you because this is not acceptable. You coming here trying to whatever. Anyway. But yeah, so I think that's all I had for you today. And if you have anything, you can ask me in a chat or in a comment. I'll be able to respond. That was me showing you the very first steps that you can use to start your journey in automation. We will have a lot more videos coming with many other concepts where we're going to go deep into scripting itself, Python, and also maybe Linux on the side. But I'm going to create just some kind of project where we can share. Can you let us see the line? I think I responded to that. It's okay with French. Oh, okay. Rabeg, you speak French too. That's fine. Thank you so much. All right, guys. I think it's been 50 minutes. I think we are good to go at this point. And if you have anything, leave it in a comment. I'll be glad to respond. And those are the first steps for you. And if you haven't really been into automation, go and get started. Automation is good. Automation is cool. I did it for the last 3 years. And my work was really fun, really relaxed. I learned a lot of things. And you also bring a lot of value. Yeah, you can do it in the work environment, or you can do it at home on your own. You can do all kind of stuff. Just like I said, the sky is the limit. And it's going to be really fun. You're going to enjoy it. Thank you, guys. I'm going to leave you for today. I'm going to see you at least next Sunday, if not sometime in the middle of the week if I have a video ready. I'll see you there. Take care and have a good Sunday. Bye.